Thank you for being with us this morning. I really appreciate your time. So let's start with that news.
It's my pleasure.
Let's start with that news late Friday, this exemption on electronics, smartphones, laptop computers, and the like. What's the thinking? Why the exemption?
Well, if you remember, over the past couple of months, President Trump has called out pharmaceuticals and semiconductors and autos. He called them sector tariffs. And those...
There are many words I could use to describe Donald Trump's tariffs. Idiotic comes to mind, as does corrupt. But the one that really stands out to me is chaotic. Chaos surrounds everything, from the U.S. economy to the global market, and even inside his own White House, where there's an ongoing civil war sparked by these tariffs. These tariffs have also divided the Republican Party in Congress, but the conflict within the White House is far more intense. As I've pointed out throughout this entire tariff saga, Donald Trump and his team just can't stay on the same page. Their inability to stick to a consistent message, because let's be real, it's all nonsense, has them at each other's throats. We're going to dive into the chaos that honestly makes me a little happy. But before we do, if you could take a moment to like this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, it would mean a lot to me. Now, there are many reasons for this internal conflict, but the main one comes from an interview Howard Lutnick did this morning, which gives us the context needed to understand why there's so much infighting.
Thank you for being with us this morning. I really appreciate your time. So let's start with that news.
It's my pleasure.
Let's start with that news late Friday, this exemption on electronics, smartphones, laptop computers, and the like. What's the thinking? Why the exemption?
Well, if you remember, over the past couple of months, President Trump has called out pharmaceuticals and semiconductors and autos. He called them sector tariffs, and those are not available for negotiation. They are just going to be part of making sure we reshore the core national security items that need to be made in this country. We need to make medicine in this country. We learned it during COVID. We need to make it in this country. We need to make semiconductors, because if we don't own semiconductors here, remember, virtually all semiconductors are made now in Taiwan, and they're finished in China. It's important that we reshore them. And so the president is going to come out with his policies on semiconductors and pharmaceuticals. They're going to be outside the reciprocal tariffs, and he was just making sure everyone understood that all of these products are outside the reciprocal tariffs, and they are going to have their own separate way of being considered.
But wait a minute. I'm asking you about the exemption, not about, I mean, the notice that went out Friday night saying that electronics, a wide range of electronics, including smartphones, including components used to make microchips, that these are now exempt from the reciprocal tariffs. Why that move?
Well, remember, those products are going to be part of the semiconductor sectoral tariffs, which are coming. So you're going to see this week, there'll be a register in the Federal Registry. There'll be a notice put out. That is different types of work. So we're going to do that. We did that in autos. The president's going to do it for pharmaceuticals, and he's going to do it for semiconductors. So all those products are going to come under semiconductors, and they're going to have a special focused type of tariff to make sure that those products get reshored. We need to have semiconductors, we need to have chips, and we need to have flat panels. We need to have these things made in America. We can't be reliant on Southeast Asia for all of the things that operate for us. So what he's doing is he's saying they're exempt from the reciprocal tariffs, but they're included in the semiconductor tariffs, which are coming in probably a month or two. So these are coming soon. You shouldn't think this is really outside of it. Really think of it as being included in the semiconductor space, much like pharmaceuticals. These require special attention, and the president is on it.
So you're saying that the big tariffs on things like smartphones and laptops, iPhones, all those iPhones built in China, that those tariffs are temporarily off, but they're going to be coming right back on in another form in a month or so? Or what are you saying?
Correct. That's right. That's right. Semiconductors and pharmaceuticals will have a tariff model in order to encourage them to reshore, to be built in America. We need our medicines and we need semiconductors and our electronics to be built in America. We can't be beholden and rely upon foreign countries for fundamental things that we need. We can't be relying on China for fundamental things that we need. Our medicines and our semiconductors need to be built in America. Donald Trump is on it. He's calling that out. So you should understand these are included in the semiconductor tariffs that are coming, and the pharmaceuticals are coming. Those two areas are coming in the next month or two. So this is not like a permanent sort of exemption. He's just clarifying that these are not available to be negotiated.
This has been the story with Donald Trump's tariffs. He turns them on. He turns them back off. We say they're for jobs, but then we say they're for negotiating tariffs with other countries. And we don't actually care about bringing jobs back. But then we do want to bring the jobs back, but then we don't want those jobs. No one knows what is happening, even those in the White House. And it's the reason why Donald Trump keeps on flip-flopping like we saw today. But that flip-flopping, that lack of a coherent message or idea. Because again, these tariffs are just idiotic, and at the whims of Donald Trump, whose brain is melting, has led to a civil war that we can see in this article right here. Significant division in Trump world after wrecking ball ABC interview Fox reporter. According to a Fox Business News correspondent, Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary has set off a panic at the White House over comments he made on ABC Sunday morning, where he created new doubts about Trump's tariff plan. Late Friday night, the administration announced there would be a tariff carve-out for specific electronics, such as laptops and iPhones coming from China. But Secretary Howard Lutnick created new confusion when speaking with This Week co-anchor Jonathan Karl, according to Lutnick, who already has his detractors in the Trump White House. So what Donald Trump's doing is he's saying they're exempt from the reciprocal tariffs, but they're included in the semiconductor tariffs, which are coming in probably a month or two. So these are coming soon. That led Fox's Charles Gasparro to jump on X and to report that Lutnick has set off a new and unnecessary firestorm when the administration is frantically still attempting to calm a very jittery Wall Street. Gasparro wrote, breaking a senior Wall Street executive with ties to the Trump White House, described Howard Lutnick's comments about the temporary nature of the tariff exemptions as off message. Now the market will open way down again. Since it appears the administration is totally confused, Susie Wilds needs to get control of Lutnick. He is a wrecking ball. This is the point that I continue to come back to. What I am most surprised by is not that Donald Trump is a lunatic who does not understand tariffs. It's not that this is crashing our economy again. It's not that the people in his administration are unqualified for their jobs and destroying the global economy because of it. I'm surprised they don't have a singular message. You know, MAGA is always lying, but they're usually telling the same lie. This tariff plan is so idiotic, so historically bad, that not even MAGA can get together on one single narrative to push out. That's what surprised me the most, and this is another example of it. Howard Lutnick says that there are no carve-outs for the terrorists. Donald Trump announced that today, after Howard Lutnick's interview, did he feel pressure? Does he feel embarrassed that China essentially said, yeah, we don't care what you're doing and you're admitting defeat to us? That's a little bit embarrassing. There is no understanding. There is no coherent idea. There is no end goal that Donald Trump clearly wants to achieve with these tariffs. I guess, except for shorting the market, it's insider trading. At this point, is the only reasonable explanation for what's going on, other than Donald Trump's brain is made of putty. That's what's happening right now. And at the expense of all of us, it is chaos. It is confusion. Like I said at the beginning of this video, he's being attacked for it by Republicans in Congress, and Democrats are seizing on that. And Jen Psaki broke it all down in this clip right here.
This still is a tax. And this isn't just some liberal talking point, by the way. Take a listen to some of these staunchest conservative Republicans in Washington.
Tariffs are a tax on consumers, and I'm not a fan of jacking up taxes on American consumers.
There's no question about it. Tariff as a tax.
Conservatives used to understand that tariffs are taxes on the American people.
It's not even your average tax hike either, by the way. Tariffs are effectively a regressive tax, meaning the less money you have, the harder you get hit. Even after Trump's reversal, the tariffs on countries, including Brazil and Colombia, remain unchanged. And what that basically means is that the two biggest producers of U.S. coffee, Brazil and Colombia, your daily cups, if you're me, I should say, will most likely be getting more expensive because their tariffs on them remain in place. And the disruption could also make holiday shopping difficult. I know it's a while away, but here's what one toy company CEO told the Today Show on Thursday.
80% of the toys will be twice as expensive this Christmas as they were last Christmas. There'll likely, in particular with toys, be a shortage of toys this Christmas. I mean, even a short-term disruption will upset the flow of goods.
Merry Christmas, everyone. There are fewer toys and they are more expensive. Keep in mind, all of this happened on the same week, during the same week, when House Republicans passed a budget that could also include massive cuts to Medicaid. So, they're making everything from healthcare to holiday toys more expensive for most Americans. And when Trump says, which he keeps saying, it's a quote, great time to buy, that was his tweet, you have to ask yourself, great time for who exactly? Not most people. Now, the only silver lining here, if you could call it that, is that this is all being done in the light of day. Billionaires yucking it up in the Oval Office about how much money Donald Trump made them, billionaires bragging about buying access to the White House, and the cost of living going up for everyone else, which people are living every day. Turns out people are taking notice, a lot of people, of course they are. Millions have turned out at protests, shown up at town halls, and big rallies to demonstrate again what we've seen from this White House. And yesterday, Bernie Sanders and AOC held their latest Fight Oligarchy event, this one in Los Angeles. They said 36,000 people turned out for this rally. They also said it's the biggest crowd either of them have ever spoken to. And yeah, Bernie's message has kind of never been more relevant than it is right now.
I invite the president to come to LA. Tell the people here why.
Republicans are starting to turn on Donald Trump, and Democrats are capitalizing on this moment. Certain Democrats, at least, I'd like to see even more stepping up, are calling people to action and pushing for organization. We see AOC, Bernie, Jasmine Crockett, Cory Booker, and Mark Kelly, who just held a town hall today. People are showing up, taking to the platforms where they need to be, and using their voices to rally voters, whether they're Republicans, Independents, or Democrat. The message is clear. We cannot let the fools and the oligarchs take control of our country. AOC really drove that point home in a crucial clip right here.
So many of us know what it feels like for life to be one bad day, one bad piece of news, one major setback from everything feeling like it's going to fall apart. And we don't have to live like this anymore, Utah. We can make a new world, a better country, where we can fight for the dignity of all people. And it looks like living wages, Utah. It looks like stable housing, Utah. It looks like guaranteed health care, Salt Lake City. And it looks like respect for all of our differences, no matter who we are or where we come from. Oligarchy or democracy. And we are here today because we choose democracy. We choose freedom.
This is the moment for us to unite and build a broader coalition of people who are fed up with those in power and the reasons they're in charge. And the reason they're running things is to serve the wealthiest individuals in history. We saw Donald Trump in the Oval Office, laughing it up with his billionaire friends, bragging about making $900 million one day and $1.6 billion the next, all at our expense. That's not what we want. What we want is real leadership, something Bernie and AOC are truly delivering. It's great to see them leading, and we'll be talking about this every day on the show. If you want to support that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you've made it this far, drop a blue heart in the comments. I'll see you soon.